All right, so
Yes.
the Giants are 1-7, the same exact record through 8 games that they were last year. On Monday, Eli Manning was asked about his future as the Giants' starting quarterback.
I've always been a team player and do kind of what I'm told, and you know, I expect and want to be the starting quarterback and until I'm told differently. That's what the coach does. You know, in a bye week you evaluate everything, so that's part of his job.
So who better to talk Giants football than the man who was the Giants draft boss for over a decade? Please welcome to the breakfast table. We have Mark Ross with us today.
What's up, buddy?
Hello.
Former
Hello.
RV.
Well, yep.
Glad
to be here.
Gotta get your proper. Gotta get your proper.
Good try, man. Walmart special. Just picked it up on the way.
Wow, they do good tailoring, huh?
We have a suit guy. Well, we don't have the same guy, but we have a suit place. So Mark and I might go there after the show.
Oh.
Kind of, you know, if you want to come, they have ladies' clothes there. You can come. I can't.
Do they?
I don't know if you want to co-sign with
No, man. He always tried to copy my style when I was up in New York.
I do, and
it hasn't worked.
It never
hasn't worked.
I think it's the hair. I think that's what.
Is that it? Is that the?
Yeah.
We talked about Eli Manning.
Hold on, Mark was the former VP of player evaluation for the Giants, and also with the Eagles and the Bills as a scout personnel.
Scout, director of college scouting.
So how many years?
Intern, all
How many
that.
years have you
About
been?
20 plus. Started in 97, 96 as an intern. Worked a couple internships. Worked my way up. Scout, area scout, director of college scouting,
And
just kept
now,
going at it.
a guest professor yesterday at the Wharton Business School at Penn, speaking to a sports management class.
Yeah, I
How
had
did
to
that
choke
go?
my pride as a Princeton grad going to Penn. It was tough for me to give all my knowledge to them, but I had to do what I had to do. Now a good friend runs a class, and he's been wanting me to come down, and it kind of worked out good to couple this with this, and really good class of students. And
back
it
to
was fun.
school.
That's cool.
There you go.
It's a theme for today.
It's refreshing.
Speaking of school, on a sabbatical, I mean, you plan to return to the NFL in some capacity right now.
Yeah.
So are you sitting there still watching tape of current players, college players? How are you handling it?
Yeah, you know, really, when you have a year off, when you're in it, you're just so immersed and you're so stressed every day. And then you don't even realize how stressed you are until you're out of it. So now I can just kind of sit back and enjoy my family, enjoy friends, be a real person, but also look at the game from a different perspective and kind of reconnect with the love that you have when you come up in the sport, as opposed to every day you're just like, are we going to win? Are we going to win? Are we going to win? You know, Sean knows how it is. You guys know how it is. It's just, and you just forget about what real life is until you're out of it. And now I'm just reconnecting in a different way and seeing the game in a different light.
So you're seeing the game in a little different way. What are you seeing with Eli Manning? He's been sacked 31 times. Some say he should be benched. What do you think is the best plan moving forward for Eli then?
Well, you know, it's just you got to move forward. In the NFL, you got to move forward. You got to be ahead of the curve. You can't go backwards. So at this point, I think everybody kind of knows you got to move forward. You got to move on. If you want to win, what's your goal? Is it to win, or is it to make people happy, or sacrifice other things to keep reputations in line?
So moving forward, what would you do? Would you bench him now, or would you?
Well, I think that's what you have to do. You have to see. I mean, this is the state they're in now, where their hopes are in Kyle Lauletta, 4th-round pick from Richmond. So that just kind of shows you, wow, this is what we're really banking on. So they can't get worse. I mean, they're 31st, 29th, 30th in all these stats. So you can't get worse. So you might as well try something different and see what happens.
Mix it up.
They went with Saquon Barkley at number 2. I know some people have talked, should you have gone quarterback there or whatever.
Right.
When you look at Saquon himself, I mean, what kind? This is a generational talent to me.
Right.
Do you see the same kind of things with
Well, yeah, he's a phenomenal talent. You can't go wrong with the talent. I mean, the guy is big, strong, fast. You've seen what he's done already to make plays. But again, to be that good and then not have an impact on the game, there's nothing like having a quarterback who directly impacts every play, every snap, everybody in the organization, to bring everybody forward and say, oh, man, we have hope. We have a margin for error when you have an elite franchise quarterback who just brings everybody up and raises the level.
Who was your guy out of all these quarterbacks that were in the draft? Now they didn't have a shot at Baker Mayfield, but I'll give you that. Suppose you had the Browns and you had the number 1 pick overall. Who was your quarterback?
Yeah, but, you know, Baker, I think, was the right pick. I like Baker. Baker and Sam were the 2 guys. You know, every year there's a group of quarterbacks that come out. Everybody wants all of those guys to be great.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the history, if there's 5 guys, there's going to be 1 or 2 that actually turn out to be good. It's not all of them. So, you know, pinning your hopes on a franchise quarterback and say, we're just going to get one and he's going to be good, that's not the case. You have to get the right person to lead your organization to help you win. And that goes through the analysis of the whole process of the college years, to see which guy is the right fit and the right person.
Yeah. Mark, you were a part of a lot of Giants drafts. Probably the best player I think you guys probably picked in your tenure there was Odell Beckham, OBJ, with the 12th pick back in 2014. Tell me what the Giants need to do to really get the maximum potential out of him, because he's one of those generational type of players too. I don't think a lot of people realize that the dude is special. And having gone against him, he's part of the reason I'm sitting here instead of still playing, because I can't keep up with guys like that.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, he may be the most gifted player that I've been around, and I've been around
Ever?
a lot of gifted guys, man. But this guy is phenomenal. Just what he can do, his speed, his burst, his body control, his passion that he brings to the game. I mean, he is really unique. They got to come with a new wave offense, man, and get a quarterback who can get him the ball on a consistent basis and have him do what he does, man. You see what he can do on limited touches and just getting short slants and taking them to the house. But, I mean, someone that can get him the ball downfield and just open up his whole arsenal of weapons will help him.
Do you remember overall where he was on your board that year?
Yes.
Where?
I can't tell you that.
Come on, you're
Hey, I'm over here like this too.
He was number one. He was number one.
Really?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't, but he was high. He was higher than 12th. I mean, he was a lot higher than 12th.
Why wasn't he top 5? I mean, if you redrafted there, he would be. Why do you think a lot of names?
Right. Well, he was a little slender, and then he also played with Jarvis Landry.
Yeah.
And he didn't get a whole lot of touches.
Yeah.
Jarvis got kind of the meat and bones of a lot of touches, and Odell was really just kind of a specialist, get 5 catches a game or so.
Yeah.
They had Zach Mettenberger as the quarterback at the time.
right.
Their offense really was not that good despite having all those guys. So it was, not great production, a slender frame. Jarvis getting a lot of touches where there was an argument like who's better. A lot of people thought Jarvis was the better player, and so those were kind of the factors that led into people downgrading him a little
It's
bit.
crazy when you hear all this and talk about LSU and they had all these players and yet they still found a way to lose games. Kind of like the Giants. We're talking about Saquon, Odell Beckham, probably 2 of the best players at their position right now in the NFL.
Right.
So I'm sitting over here, and Mark, you're a guest on the show, so I'm not going to come at you, but I disagree with everything you're saying right now about Eli. And you know how to build a team. You've got to protect. You've got to block.
Right.
All right? And the fact that the Giants have swung and missed on so many offensive linemen and so many early draft picks is why they are in the mess that they're in right now. And it's not, it's not, hey, Eli can't throw the ball down the field. He can, but man, when you're getting beat inside, when the guards are getting beat, look, Eli's not the most mobile guy. He was. I mean, that's why the Super Bowl play in '42 was so remarkable, because he doesn't break tackles. The fact that he broke out of that was amazing. We've known that Eli is a pocket guy. He doesn't move around like all these other guys. And I look at this and I say, okay, what quarterback, do you think a young quarterback would have more wins right now given this offense and the lack of protection in the pocket right now?
Yeah, so, I mean, in this day and age with playing quarterback, when you say sit in the pocket and do these things, that's not reality anymore. That's not the way people play football anymore. The way you play football is
Tom Brady
you have to be able to, but you watch Tom, he moves in the pocket, he slides, he creates space for himself.
He was only sacked 7 times going into last night's game, so they protect him.
Yeah, I got you. But his left tackle is playing with the Giants now from last year, Tom Brady's. He's playing with a guy that from another team. San Francisco, the big guy Brown was a late round draft pick, and he's his left tackle now. They're just moving parts. Tom Brady, like I said, a franchise quarterback, great guy, raises the level of everybody else, and everybody doesn't have great offensive lines. Deshaun Watson has a very subpar offensive line, but the things he can do, he masks the deficiencies of the O-line.
He had to take a bus ride, 13-hour bus ride, though, to a game. Like he almost
so much.
Okay,
so
let's move it forward now. You know Pat Shurmur. You guys were together in Philadelphia.
Right.
What does Pat Shurmur do to fix all this stuff? And they've got the bye week obviously right now. So, but how can he help that?
Pray. I think they're kind of in the situation they're in now, and there's not going to be a miraculous recovery of, okay, all of a sudden we're going to start being a juggernaut of an offense and scoring 30 points a game. I think they kind of are where they are, unless the young guy, unless they put him in and he's a discovery, a miraculous discovery, then it'll happen. But besides that, I think you'll just see more of this for the rest of the year.
Real quick, the Giants just traded 2 guys. Eli Apple and Snacks,
Right.
two guys that you know well, and you
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
I think at that point they waved the white flag and said, let's get what we can out of these guys and just move forward.
Economical.
Well, they've got a couple of young guys that they like. They can play on the defensive line, and Dalvin Tomlinson. You drafted him,
Yeah,
right?
Dalvin.
Yep.
And B.J. Hill as well. They think those guys. So that was the reason for the Snacks move. Eli Apple needed a fresh start. I just really believe that. That thing was rocky for the jump there.
And I think he looked good.
He did.
With the
Listen,
Saints.
he's got ability.
He's around all his Buckeyes over there.
Yep.
Right,
Saints,
that's true,
So that's
that's
the
right.
perfect situation for him down there in New Orleans.
Yeah, so a lot to work out there with the Giants, but we'll see how that kind of works out. Thanks so much for coming
Professor
in here.
Mark.
Like, this is great. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, we'll talk to you again soon, and we're going to talk about the Giants more coming up. We're going to talk about the trade deadline coming up.